Before humans believed ideas, they practiced rituals. Before doctrines, before laws, before explanations, there was repetition. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of human behavior. Most people believe belief comes first, that humans decide what they believe and then act accordingly. But history shows the opposite. Humans act first. They repeat actions, and belief forms after. Ritual precedes belief. Always has. Always will. Look at any civilization, any culture, any religion, any political system, and you will not find belief at the center. You will find ceremony, holidays, symbols, dress codes, language patterns, obedience rituals, daily habits, seasonal repetitions. These are not decorations. They are conditioning mechanisms. Humans do not need to be convinced logically. They need to be immersed repeatedly. Truth is not something most people reason themselves into. Truth is something they get used to. Consider holidays. Most people celebrate them without knowing their origins, without understanding their purpose, without questioning their meaning. They repeat them because everyone else does. Christmas, Easter, national holidays, religious festivals, civic ceremonies. The ritual comes first, the story comes later, and eventually the story feels sacred, not because it is true, but because it is familiar. Repetition creates emotional attachment. Emotional attachment creates meaning. Meaning becomes belief. At no point is truth required. Take Christmas as an example. Not to attack it, but to understand it. Most people believe it celebrates a historical event. But the date is symbolic. The rituals are borrowed. The imagery is ancient. Elements from Roman festivals, Norse mythology, Christian theology, commercial incentives, layered together over centuries. And yet, to millions of people, it feels unquestionably real. Why? Because it is repeated every year with lights, music, family, emotion, memory. The nervous system learns the ritual before the mind learns the explanation. By the time a person asks questions, the belief is already anchored. This pattern exists everywhere. Religion did not spread because it was logically superior. It spread because it was ritually consistent. Prayers at specific times, clothing rules, dietary restrictions, physical postures, recited words. The body was trained first. Belief followed. The same is true for governments. Flags, pledges, anthems, voting rituals, official language. Most people do not deeply understand political systems. They perform them, standing, saluting, repeating phrases, following procedures. Obedience becomes muscle memory. Once behavior is normalized, questioning feels unnatural. This is the real function of ceremony. Ceremony removes the need for constant enforcement. A system that relies on force is expensive. A system that relies on ritual is efficient. When people internalize patterns, authority no longer needs to shout. People self-regulate. They defend the system for you. They feel offended when it is questioned, not because they understand it, but because it is part of their identity. This is why belief feels personal. It isn't intellectual, it's neurological. Repetition does something subtle. It collapses the difference between is and should be. When something is repeated often enough, the mind stops asking why. It becomes normal, and normal becomes true. This is why propaganda works best when it doesn't feel aggressive. The most powerful narratives are the ones repeated quietly. Through media, through education, through jokes, through rituals disguised as tradition. The goal is not to convince. The goal is to normalize. Once normalized, belief becomes automatic. This is also why people defend systems that harm them. They are not defending logic. They are defending familiarity. Breaking a belief is not painful because it is wrong. It is painful because it disrupts ritual. When ritual collapses, identity destabilizes. And humans fear that more than discomfort. Now consider how this applies to modern systems. Work rituals, school rituals, career ladders, schedules, deadlines, dress codes. Most people do not ask whether these structures make sense. They repeat them, wake up, commute, perform, comply, repeat. The repetition creates legitimacy. Eventually, the system feels natural even when it is historically new, even when it contradicts human biology, even when it erodes meaning. This is why repetition creates truth, not because truth emerges, but because resistance fades. The nervous system adapts. The mind rationalizes. The story locks in. Belief is born after obedience, not before. This is the foundation most people never see. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Now, this brings us directly to Web3, but not in the way people expect. Web3 does not succeed or fail because of technology. It succeeds or fails because it breaks ritual. There are no familiar ceremonies, no trusted institutions, no uniforms, no central authority, no inherited scripts. It requires individuals to act without ritual scaffolding, and that is deeply uncomfortable. Most people don't fail in Web3 because they lack intelligence. They fail because there's no ceremony to lean on. No one tells them when to trust, who to obey, what is legitimate. There is no ritualized safety, only responsibility. This is why people crave centralized platforms. They are rituals in digital form. Log in, scroll, like, repeat. Familiarity feels like truth. Decentralization feels like chaos until a new ritual is formed. And this is the core tension of the new world. The old systems mastered ritual. The new systems demand awareness. Understanding ritual does not mean rejecting tradition. It means seeing it clearly. It means understanding that belief is often an effect, not a cause. And once you understand that, you stop confusing repetition with truth. You begin to ask different questions. Who benefits from this ritual? What behavior does it produce? What belief does it reinforce? And most importantly, what happens if I stop participating? This is the beginning of sovereignty, not rebellion, not rejection, awareness. Because the moment ritual loses its invisibility, it loses its power. And in a world built on repetition, awareness is revolutionary.